Gerald Acrylic Nail Art Tutorial by Hotpinkzebrapolish. Hi guys, so in today's video I'm going to be doing Gerald from Finding Dory, and I wanted to upload this really quickly just because Finding Dory is still in theaters, and so if you are a fan of Gerald and you want to go to it while it's in theaters, I thought I should get that out as soon as possible. So I hope you like it, and don't forget to click subscribe to see my future videos as well. Begin by covering the nail with a layer of glittery, sort of a teal blue, just sort of ocean color. And so it could be glittery blue or teal or be glitter free, whatever. Just add a layer of ocean to the back of your nail. And now I'm going to be encasing that with a layer of clear. This is going to be protecting your glitter, and even if you don't have glitter, still add a layer of clear just to give it some thickness, and also this is going to give it a lot of strength too. And now I'm going to be filing it with a 180 grit file. This is going to make sure to thin it out, especially on the side walls and in the cuticle area, and leaving that apex the shape that we want it, but file it so that you get rid of any bulk that happens to be there. And then I also buffed it, but I managed to forget to record that part. So buff the nail and then wipe it off. And now we'll continue by making Gerald's body. And right now I'm just going to do his basic shape. So the shape of his head, and we're just not doing his entire form, but like head and neck area mostly. So he kind of is like the top of a bowling pin in shape at this point. And I'm just keeping this really thin. This is just sort of sketching out the shape. And now we're going to thicken up the main area, which is going to be his snout. This is the area where the 3D art really shows off the fact that it is dimensional. So I'm going to lay a bead down, and then I'm going to just sort of press it and push it up so that it goes vertically up, and so it has that shape. And just because his tummy was a little bit uneven, I'm just adding a little bit more acrylic there. And once that brown has completely set, I'm going to be placing down a bead of white acrylic that's very wet, and then I'm going to stretch it into a little half circle, into a line that's a half circle. You don't want it to be filled in, but just pull it out into that shape for the handle of his bucket. And then I'm going to add his bucket with some really bright green acrylic. So I'm going to place a bead down and pull it into that bucket shape. That's sort of like a parallelogram. And I'm going to add a little bit more acrylic. And this is going to be forming in that center of the bucket, so it has that dimensional quality. So just take the tip of your brush and create that little indent for the inside of the bucket. And I'm going to be adding some more brown acrylic. When I did it before, it was just to know where his mouth is. And now we're really creating that shape that we're going for. And so make sure that you enhance his overbite a little bit more than it was before. And so now with gray, I'm going to place down a really wet bead and just sort of spread it down. And then with the very tips of my brush, the little bristles, I'm going to sort of poke at it. And this is going to create his fur texture. And it doesn't have to be perfect, just really wet gray acrylic and then jab at it, and it'll look perfectly fine. And then after that, I'm going to be adding all his facial features. I'm going to start with 2 beads of white for his eyes. And then a bead of black for his nose. And you're also going to want to use black to create his unibrow. And his unibrow continues up off his forehead, so make sure that that goes into the blue background just a little bit. And then with little bits of white acrylic, I'm also going to be adding his teeth. So just go down with little beads, and we're going to add 3 teeth on the longer side and 2 on the shorter side. Just because his face is turned a little bit, you won't see all 3 teeth. So we're just going to place down the 2. And then I'm going to highlight the handle of his bucket with full strength white paint, just so that handle really shows off. I'm also going to do that with his teeth and his eyes. And then I'm going to dilute my white paint, and I'm going to go over and add highlights to his unibrow, his nose, on the side of his face, and down his neck a little bit. Because he is wet, he has that really shiny appearance. And also onto the rim of the bucket and the side a little bit. And then I'm going to be just continuing to highlight until I'm happy with it, and you can also low light if you want. I'm going to low light the inside of the bucket with some diluted dark green and also the side, and then add his eyes, the eye color with dark green, and then a pupil with black, and just gently outline his eyes. You don't want to go crazy with the outlining, but just a little bit, and add a little bit of outlining on his bucket. And then I'm going to be applying gel sealer over the background, over that glittery blue color that I have. That's really going to make the background look like water and make it stand out. And then I'm going to add matte top coat over Gerald. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you like this design. Please share any recreations with me on Facebook and Instagram. I would really love to see them and see how amazing your Gerald all looks. And I will see you in my next video. Bye!